Hello everyone, today we are looking at the new line MGSD. Thank you Plamod for sponsoring today's episode for us. If they didn't already get to see this kit and many others at your local hobby shop, ask them, have they talked to Plamod today? What do you think of when you actually see an adorable pet on your social feed? Well, that's how I felt the first time when I saw the MGSD Freedom. How can I not feel super excited and fuzzy feelings to see such a tiny rendition of the Freedom Gundam? Freedom is already iconic enough, as the original show was aired in 2002 and had 2 seasons already, and technically already a multi-line of model kits galore. Oh, plus a statue itself in Shanghai. Yikes, like, can it not already steal the show in the world? Well, let's take a first look at the box and what it entails. Something already shocking is, and isn't to be shocked, is the box typical size of an MG kit. Again, it is an SD, so you decide the audience. Something to highlight is the age recommendation on it, where it says 15 plus, which leads me to believe that there are going to be lots of pieces of motion in this. There is the new QR code to scan to check out more details about the product from Gundam.info, located on the sides of the box. Followed on the next side, detailed perspective view of the kit and some of the details explaining the merge of the MG and the SD line. Well, enough with the box, let's look at what we got here. The build technically lasted about 6 hours for me, and I'm being nice about I'm a very slow builder. The guide is very detailed and lengthy as a master grade instruction book. Also, a small detailed sticker sheet was included. Yes, there aren't water slides for this guy. Wasn't expecting it, to be honest. I've enjoyed every snap and finding lots of hidden joints and movements details as I was building up the kit. Some repetition with the wings is the only thing that you might find a little boring in the building process. Everything else is completely original. Really make sure to follow the steps and directions of assembling the wings. Not saying I put mine together in the wrong way twice. Snapping the head together had already revealed a completely different level of complexity of color, details. Felt that was missed in a lot of MG models that's already out there currently. Seriously Bandai, you continue to up your game so far and stretch all these new model kits. There is a lack of space typically in SDs. Sadly, adding more and cramming so many joints and gimmicks, this will be very difficult to install LEDs in the head and still keeping the maneuverability. If you want a challenge, please show me what you can do, folks. I sadly won't be taking this challenge on myself. I will note that paying attention to cutting is extremely important, as I found that cutting the clear lens pieces for the eyes, you need to cut it as flush as you can and try it to the best you can. Don't sand it. Otherwise, those will probably fall out like 90% of the time. There are a number of undergated parts. Unfortunately, not everything had it. The thinner pieces like the wings and the outer armor is the majority of where the cleaning process is going to be found. The wingtips are extremely thin, so be careful how you pose it and handle it, as it can stretch quite easily. If you follow the instructions exactly and snap everything together, you will be left with no extra parts at all on any of the sprees.
Alright, let's talk about the gimmicks and accessories. A little bit of hands-on approach. The Freedom Gundam, it's accurate to what it should come with, so nothing a huge surprise, as there is a beam rifle, a couple beam sabers, the twin waist cannons, and the twin shoulder/wing cannons that are actually on the back. It's armed to the teeth, yet very subtle. There are levels of accent colors already on the weapons and the cannons that have never ever been, well, in the past in any SD and an MG pretty much. Like, it made me cry the number of times I had to actually put one or more stickers for the red and the blue corrections. The waist cannons, actually, let's start with those. That's actually located on the side here. They actually could fold completely open and have pop open additional handles for where the hands actually can grasp and hold. Like, those are actually really slick. They actually keep in, and the gears here, they actually, once you fold, actually, well, seamlessly go back down together. So slide and close. There's an interlocking beam sabers that's iconic on the Freedom Gundam and also in the Justice. But there's one little gimmick here. See this little black piece here? That's actually a lock. So if you actually pull it gently out, it actually disengages the lock, and now it can actually slide out. And you can see there's this very small little lock here and peg. That's actually where the holder that goes into the hand is. And the back here, there's the pegs, so it can interlock back onto the other beam saber. And it's nice because once you click it, actually there's a small click and it actually holds there nice and snug, and it doesn't fall or fly off. And then when you're done, just make sure you angle back the notch here and get it notched. And then you can push back down the black lock to lock it back in place. And great thing is that it does not fly off. The MGSD here, this thing has more gimmicks than there are actually weapons in total actually on there. So let's go from literally from the head down. Outside of the detail of the face already, we've already seen those. They actually added like the boosters on the shoulders that actually, if you pull them down, the thruster here actually opens up the air intake. And like that's mind-blowing. Like they're all in one motion, fluid motion, that you can actually do that. Second, the actual shoulder plates here that's on each shoulder and also on the back, they actually can pull down slightly, so you can do a little bit more part separation on both sides, and you can flick it forward. So you can open up the shoulder joint itself for I guess posing purposes, and maybe a bit more like articulation for the arm to show off. Like the arm's already stubby enough, I don't know why, but it's part of it. The cockpit hatch, that was actually really neat when I was putting it together. It actually slides out. Very, very fine, nice details that are actually included in there. All it really does is just show the little hatch opening. Sadly, you will not find a tiny Kira Yamato that will fit inside this thing. There's a lock joint on the waist that's actually located at the front of the pelvic here. If you slide it forward, you can see it just move slightly forward, and actually that disengages the lock from the hips, and then the hips now can actually slide forward and back a bit more. So I guess if you're doing like a flying pose or whatnot, you can do that so it disengages so the legs can fly back a bit more. Outside of that, I think you don't need it. But it's part of it, that's included there. The leg joint, the knee is nice and fully opposable, which is different from a lot of SD. Even the cross silhouettes, they're very, very limited. But for this guy, it actually is amazing how much it actually articulates and pull. From all the way from inside the thigh, there's the joint separation there. You can slide up and down, all the way to your knee that actually have a slight sliding motion. There's a little tiny thruster that's on the back of the heel as well, that actually flaps up and down too. And then finally to the foot, you got your toe action, which is really, really unique. Like you can actually tiptoe, and then also the entire heel, each section is free moving. So if you're trying to like do a stance or flying in the air, you can actually pose it quite beautifully actually this way. Each of the wings on the back of the unit is really neat. I believe they've done it a few times where you can actually now, on the large wings, you can actually unclick and they separate ever so slightly here. And they do it for each of the main 4 wings. I would say be really careful because the tips of these are very, very thin. There is a base connector for your Gundam bases, actually located on the very bottom vernier of the backpack. All you do is like flick it down, and it actually opens up the port where it actually runs the plug. I believe most bases actually, I believe they come with this style, so you don't have to look too hard, and it actually plugs directly in. And actually, very smart. It actually holds in and keeps it tucked away. If you don't use it, you can keep it hidden, and you don't have to worry about extra parts. Gimmicks or not, there are posable hands on this kit. Really great details on the hands. I gotta admit, I was very, very surprised. I was not expecting an SD to actually have this much level of detail in between each of the fingers and the hands. They perfectly wrap around each of the weapons, the beam saber, the rifle, and the shield. Now, the only thing about it is that it's not perfect for the size as it is, just because, well, proportion wise, it's not perfect. It's a SD. So it's not literally holding, grasping it. It's literally like basically floating inside the palm of the hand there, just from the attachment of the weapons and the shield. One of the smartest things I actually did realize when I was putting and assembling this guy was all the main locking joints from the wings to the actual shoulders. They're actually use a lock peg system, where once you actually like attach it, I believe it was all the way 90 degrees pointing up, and basically turn it back down, it actually now locks in place. So you won't be able to easily just pull out the wings or the shoulders. It won't just pop off. It actually, unless you strip the joint off, then it will come off, which is really, really smart. I hope they actually incorporate that into future kits, because you know what, that's one of those fearful things. You're posing and all of a sudden something comes flying off of it, and this guy won't have a problem with it at all.
Ta-da! It's here. It's so gorgeous. The next level of SD kits. Well, folks, for a net price of $65 Canadian, I think heck yes, this is a bang for the buck. You get MG without taking a lot of space, an excessive amount of details plus gimmicks too. Something I will give me a good feeling every time I see it at my desk. Yes, I know it is an SD kit, not a big thing for everyone, but hey, if you're a master builder of sorts, why not give this one a run for your money? I know myself as a fan of SDs, this completely blew my mind. Hey everyone, thank you for watching our video. Don't forget, if you do enjoy this video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe, and by all means, leave us a comment. I'll be checking those out and I'll be reading them. Thank you. See ya.